Hiya, friendos. Welcome back to another episode of Washing Dishes, where today I feel like making some tacos. My buddy's getting married tomorrow, so we're gonna hang out this afternoon and then come back here and have tacos for dinner. We're gonna do Carne Asada and Carnitas. I've got some veggies for the marinades and the braise, and to make some red sauce and green sauce. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna start with the Carnitas because that's gonna take the longest. So we'll just kind of work through it on video as I work through it in my own kitchen. Anyway, to get started, we're going to start with the carnitas because that's going to take the longest and it's going to, well, take the longest. So let's go ahead and get going on that.
And to get going on that, we're basically just going to cut this up into, I'm going to go with like 1-inch-ish chunks. They'll cook a little bit faster. This is going to be in the sous vide for about 6 hours at 185 degrees. So we're just going to cut it up. I'm going to trim it as I go. This doesn't need a lot of trimming. I'm perfectly fine with there being a fair amount of fat still on this. The sous vide is going to melt it, and I can trim it off before I end up like mashing it into the little stringy bits. So yeah, we're not going to have to do very much trimming on this. We're just popping this into a going to be vacuum sealed bag as we go, chunk by chunk, and once it's all together, we'll go ahead and get the rest of the ingredients in there, all the different aromatics and whatnot that's going to season our pork as it cooks. And those seasonings and aromatics are going to be a stick of cinnamon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 cloves of garlic, 2 teaspoons of cumin. I'm eyeballing these as I go, by the way. A couple of bay leaves. Mine are old, so I'm doing 2. This is going to end up being about a tablespoon of oregano, if I can get it out of the bag. Anyway, salt and pepper obviously are going in here while they cook. We'll also adjust seasoning as we go if needed. And then a lot of the flavoring is going to be done by this sliced up orange that we're putting in here. Flesh, peel, pith, and all. Wash your orange before you do this because it's going to be in the cooking process. So we're just kind of sliding them in. It's all going to kind of get mushed around anyway, but we want these in big enough pieces to fish out at the end. Also, in big enough pieces to fish out at the end, we want our onions, which is possibly the most awkward way I could say that, but that's really neither here nor there. So again, these are just getting left in big chunks and pushed in. You could, like, if you were going to braise the pork in a pot instead of using a sous vide, you would probably want to put, like, the seeds and that kind of stuff, and the orange and the onion into, like, some cheesecloth or, like, a nut milk bag or something like that. And since the audio on a shot of me vacuum sealing this is just obnoxious, we're going to skip that part and go straight to the part where I add it to my not enough water in my pot. Anyway, we're going to cook this cook this submerged at 185 degrees for somewhere at least 6 hours. You could go up to 8 or 12 on the outside end. But more than that, and you kind of don't, it's not very much, return for your time invested. And because it turns out that I am terrible with camera remotes, the only footage I caught of me getting the salsa stuff ready to roast is this footage right here. So this is for the green sauce. These are a couple of jalapenos. There's also going to be some tomatillos. And give me a sec. We'll cut to the shot where I'm explaining what we're doing. And then we'll pause for a sec, and I will tell you what is what.
Red sauce on my right, your left. Green sauce on my left, your right.
All right, hold on there, bucko. So, as I said, on your left is the red sauce, on your right is the green sauce. The red sauce is 2 Roma tomatoes, quartered, 1 onion split in half, and 1 habanero split in half. The green sauce on the right side is 1 onion split in half, 6 tomatillos split in half, and 2 jalapenos. The green sauce is also going to get some cilantro. The both sauces are going to get some lime, and now you can go back to listening to live action me.
A little bit of oil. Salt. We will actually season this later. Pepper. And then this is just going in the oven or under the broiler until everything gets kind of a nice char on it and softened up. It's probably going to take about 10 minutes or so. I'll be back after that's done.
With everything nicely roasted, we're going to go ahead and get that all into the blender, and we're going to add just a little bit of vegetable oil to kind of get things going. And we're also going to pop in the juice of 2 limes and then spin it on up. And I am going to once again spare you the droning audio of a running blender, so don't worry about that. But we're going to spin this up until it's basically smooth, and then we're just going to give it a taste and see where we're going to go from here. And where we're going is a tablespoon of cumin, a tablespoon of dried oregano, and half a bunch of cilantro. Buzz that up again and get everything incorporated, and then give it another taste. And we're never going to get all of the cilantro in. It's fine if it's a little speckled. But I think we're pretty much good, except for a little salt and pepper. And the red sauce, pretty much just as simple. We're going to go ahead and get all the veg into the blender, and then we're going to go ahead and add some salt and pepper, of course. You got to have some salt and pepper in there. This also gets a little squirt of olive oil. This one's only getting the juice of 1 lime instead of 2, so 2 halves, but still just 1 lime. This also gets a glug, about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and then a tablespoon of dried oregano before we take it all, well, put the lid on, and then take it all for a spin. And once it's smooth, of course, we're going to taste for seasoning. Anyway, I decided that this needed a little bit more salt and a little bit more pepper, which doesn't surprise me. I was conservative at the get-go. And then I made kind of a last-minute call to add some hot smoked paprika because I wanted to have a little bit more redness and a little bit more depth. And once we took that for a final spin, we decided we were all set. So, sauce is done.
Well, with the salsas ready, I think it's time to go ahead and marinate our carne asada. This bag is supposed to stay open. Yeah, great, guys. Anyway, forgot my soy sauce. 1 sec. There we go. Dry my hands off, too. There we go. All right, so this is a fairly simple marinade. We're going to go some cumin seeds, some oregano, little bit of salt because we're going to get salt from the soy sauce, some pepper. I'll have measurements in the description, don't worry. Brown sugar, soy sauce, juice of a lime, and some cilantro. People will tell you not to use the stems. Cilantro stems taste just like cilantro. They're a little woodier, but we're not eating this. I'm just cutting it into smaller pieces to help extract the flavor better. Give that a good mix. Get everything shaken up and dissolved and coated. Beautiful. Now we'll press the air out of it. Cool. That goes in the fridge. You could leave it overnight. I'm going to leave it. You want to leave it at least an hour. I think I'm going to end up leaving it like 2.5, 3 hours. Anyway, I'm going to go hang out with my buddies. And then when we come back from sword fighting, we're going to make tacos. For you, it's going to be like just a little like white circular wipe cut or something that Editor Wash decides to do. But I'm going to go hang out and have fun for a few hours. See you then. All right, sword fighting was fun. Let's go ahead and get the carne asada going while I wait for the carnitas to finish cooking. I'm going to go ahead and just get these laid out onto some paper towel. And then we will pat them dry and get them onto the griddle.
You could also grill these, of course, but either way, you want to make sure they are as dry as possible. And to ensure that, we're just going to go ahead and lay them all out on some paper towels, pat them dry, and then I'm going to try to get the big chunks of cilantro off just because they'll burn. Little bits aren't going to be noticeable, but a big burnt chunk is going to be grody. Once they're all dry, they're ready to get cooked. And we're going to cook them by just laying them out on our cast iron griddle. You could use a cast iron pan or a stainless steel pan, whatever. You just want a really, 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 really hot pan. We're going to sear these. It's super thin sirloin, so we're like, some of it will be medium rare, but mostly it's going to be in the like medium well done range. It's fine. It'll still be, we're going to cut it up into small pieces. So we're just going to get a crust. However much it cooks while it gets that crust is how much it cooks while it gets that crust. And then we'll take them off, cut them up, and give them a taste. To build our tacos, we're going to need some tortillas, which I'm going to heat up on the flat top just until they get soft and warm and pliable, and they won't, break into pieces when we go to use them to hold our fillings. Once they're warm, we're going to store them between a couple of layers of towel, and then we're going to go ahead and give these a try.
Carne Asada is ready. Let's give it a taste. A couple of tortillas. Some Carne Asada. And then I always go, so I use shallot instead of onion, but whatever. A little bit of onion, a little cilantro. And then for red meat, I happen to like red sauce, but there's no rules. You can do whatever you want. So I'm going to go red sauce here. And then a little squeeze of lime. Let's give it a taste. Hell yeah. That's delicious. Very happy with everything about this. The salsa is spicy and bright. The meat is rich and salty and sweet and just earthy. It's amazing. All right. I'm going to finish this one so I can go give the rest of these to my friends. Carne Asada was absolutely delicious. Let's get on to the Carnitas. Cut the bag open. Oh my God, this smells incredible. All right, I'm just gonna get everything into the bowl and then we'll fish out the oranges and onions. There we go. They've given their all. They can rest in peace, so to speak. The rest of this, we're gonna go ahead and mash up with a potato masher, and I will show you what that looks like.
Did I say potato masher? Because I definitely didn't. Yeah, I said potato masher, and I grabbed my pastry cutter. It works. It's just going to kind of break this up into smaller chunks that are a little bit easier to, more surface area means more space for browning, essentially, and they'll be easier to fit into tacos and whatnot. Speaking of browning, we're going to achieve that on this in much the same way we did with the Carne Asada. We're just going to spread it out on our griddle, and then kind of move it around, flip it over, move it around, flip it over. Try not to lose any pieces over the side. Fail at that. And, I'm doing it in batches because I had a bunch. But that's all it takes. Just a little bit of time on a very hot griddle. Let it build up some, brown, crusty bits. And even if it's a little bit of, dark, almost burnt bits, that's fine, too. Just variety of texture and flavor and that kind of stuff. So, once this is all nice and browned up, I think there's nothing left to do but chow down.
It's Carnitas time, and Carnitas might be my favorite taco. I do love lengua, but Carnitas is the taco I order if I'm trying a place out. So, just like the Carne Asada, we're going to get some Carnitas on the tortilla. We're going to get some green salsa this time. Somebody once told me that green sauce goes with pork. I really don't know if that's true, but I do love the way it tastes, so I'm not complaining. And some onions and cilantro. And a lime. And this one I'm going to remember to take a picture of before I eat it. So, one sec.
One
photo
later.
There we go. Now let's taste it. Oh yeah. That's where it's at. Rich, creamy, crunchy because of the little crunchy bits. Just so good. So good. All right, I gotta feed my friends. Thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your time zone. And as always, if you've enjoyed this video, you'll probably enjoy other videos on my channel. Go ahead and check them out. Catch me on the socials in the description. I should have recipes for all of this. Yeah. Anyway, thanks again. Catch you next time.